Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I am Grandmaster Shaymin and today another episode of Fatal 12. Before we get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button for future content and the like button down below for me. If you missed the last episode, you need to go back and watch it. We had a shocking confession that I'm still reeling over. I can't even believe that it happened. I was absolutely an incredible moment that I just blindsided me. But Odette confessed her love for Miharu in a really, really cool scene. Um, I am still just wow, wow. The day after one school has ended, Miharu calls Naomi over to the rooftop. They face one another under a cloudy sky, from which it seems rain will pour any minute. Not only is it rare for Miharu to call out Naomi, but Naomi also has nothing but bad memories from speaking to Miharu alone. Did you need something from me? Naomi poses her question to Miharu, who remains silent. I remember what you said to me before we all went to the theme park outside the Lion House. That's why I can't blame you for actively avoiding me. I wasn't trying to. That's not true. I was avoiding you. Now we get to finally see what happened, why all of that went down, because we had been wondering what went down. The event Miharu refers to took place on May 5th, the day following the juncture of causality, the day all 12 participants' deaths were undone. Miharu had made her way over to Lion House in order to see Rinka. Doing so would allow her to reaffirm that she's truly alive, while also giving her the opportunity to remind Rinka about going to the theme park. Miharu had prepared herself to delve into the details of divine selection once they had gone. Not long after leaving Lion House, she came along with Naomi. Oh, hello. Naomi spoke to Miharu without thinking twice. Miharu, on the other hand, remained silent after turning to face her. Tell me, do you like Rinka? Well, I really look up to her, and I think she's a great upperclassman, and... I mean, Naomi is pretty dense. Is that all? If so, then please stop trying to steal her away from me. Steal her away? I love Rinka, not as a friend, but as a woman. Miharu promptly took her leave following that exchange. Naomi would end up making her way to the Lion House afterwards, full of nothing but frustration. I mean, that wasn't too bad. I understand why you acted like that now. You had already become a participant in divine selection, hadn't you? I can't get upset knowing that. My feelings aren't shallow enough that you could understand them. Miharu puts a wall between herself and Naomi as the latter attempts to get closer. She quickly realizes it too, covering her mouth with her hands as a sign of remorse. It's no secret that I don't like you. Your personality aside, you keep taking time I could spend with Rinka from me. Okay. Miharu's words are as blunt as they come. Naomi can only direct her gaze toward the floor, not simply by virtue of Miharu being her senior. This is the first time anyone has outright stated their disdain for her. It was just me, Rinka, and Mao during our first year here. Mao knew I was in love with Rinka too, so she made sure to give us space whenever possible. Then you appeared. You used your position as Rinka's underclassman and the innocent personality of yours to draw her attention. That's not true at all. You knew my feelings for her, but you couldn't care less. In fact, you even used divine selection as a means to get closer to her. I tried to keep my distance precisely because I knew your feelings, but Rinka kept insisting that I join. You became someone truly important to her, though. I was left by the wayside. Naomi finds herself asking why she has to put up with this. Even so, she isn't the type to grow angry and argue back. All she can do is attempt to make Miharu realize she is misunderstanding things. Is that the reason you called me up here? If so, what do you expect me to do? The clouds looming overhead cast their shadows down, thicker and darker than before. The humidity in the air is almost crushing. I don't want you to do anything. Just stay the way you are. but I'd rather do something if my presence is upsetting you. The thing about my dislike for you is that it's only outmatched by my dislike for myself. I'm far too jealous and nasty. The more I realize that I take off from my awful parents, the more I find myself wishing I was dead. Miharu speaks coldly, taking off the glove on her left hand and showing her wrist to Naomi. A number of scars are visible, but it's just her wrist, though. It's not like way down her arm. You're not like Yuri status. None seem recent, but the implication is clear. This should make my cause of death obvious. It is no accident that I died. I chose that path for myself, thus I shouldn't have the right to live. Miharu. She then immediately puts her glove back on. All that follows is a self-pitying smile toward Naomi. I may be a terrible person, but my death would only upset Rinka. I can't allow that. I'm never too comfortable around you, and I doubt that'll change, but even so, I would be sad if you died too. Just the idea of that happening scares me. I don't even need to say how sad Mao would be. So tell me, who's targeting you? Naomi's question takes Miharu by surprise. However, it helps to put everything into perspective. It is doubtless that Naomi has spent every passing moment thinking about divine selection, all for Rinka's sake. This is precisely why Naomi could zone in on what Miharu wanted to get across with this conversation. You told me all this because you know Rinka will do everything she can to protect you, didn't you? It's number 9, Scale Jones. I know both his name and cause of death. Miharu gives Naomi a brief rundown of what Odette told her. Naomi listens fervently, showing no concern over the fact that Miharu has just made her dislike all clear. It's obvious what she wants. Miharu will search on her own as much as possible, but she also wants Naomi's assistance. Things might work out better than you think. Rinka already has number 9's regret card in her possession. Really? Really? It says gold medal, but a card won't materialize just by hearing that, right? It's as you say. Don't worry, though. I've met him personally, so knowing that should be enough. The clouds begin to part and the blue sky brightens the land once more. Miharu's face is lit up by rays of sunlight. Thank you, Naomi. You're far stronger than most would give you credit for. With that said, Miharu makes her way inside. Naomi's surprise over the turn of events leaves her unable to follow suit for a moment. You know, that was a kind of cool exchange. I'm not going to lie. Because Miharu not liking Naomi for the fact that Naomi seems to draw Rinka's interest kind of makes sense. I can see that. You know, she gets super jealous, but she hates herself for that. You know, again, like I've said, I can relate really, really a lot to Miharu, and that exchange kind of reminds me a lot about myself, not necessarily being possessive of a person per se, but just being like not liking myself or disliking someone because they have everything that I could never have. You know what I'm saying? I'm not really sure about regret, though. See, I'm trying to think that if I died today, what my regret would be. Because, like, what's the definition? Yeah, give me that definition. Feel sad, repentant, or disappointed over something that has happened or been done, especially a lost or missed opportunity. Exactly. So I can't regret that I wasn't born a girl because I literally had no control over that. It was something that I couldn't. It wasn't an opportunity that I missed. I don't know what my regret would be. Maybe, I don't know. I don't really have I mean, I have a lot of like minor regrets, but none of them I would consider like my life's regret. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of confusing as to what that would be. But if I died tomorrow, I mean, Scale still hasn't called us over for today's meeting. I couldn't settle down though, so here I am drinking away at Milk Crown. Some Japanese whiskey is my choice of drink for today. The name's one simple kanji. I can read it thanks to having my card book on me, but I forgot the name itself thanks to not being too familiar with it. Which reminds me, I haven't touched wine for quite a while. I was always with Odette whenever I had it, so it would probably bring back memories of her now. And I gotta be honest, I didn't mind drinking and arguing over stuff with her. Still, I'm the one who betrayed her. It's what the dumbass gives themselves a guilt trip about it at this point. I don't got time for that. I want to live. What I did was the right choice to make that happen. I already have her cause of death, and it's just a matter of time before I get her regret too. If this ain't things going smoothly, then I don't know what is. All I gotta do is take care of that asshole Alan afterwards. No one can touch me now that I've partnered up with Scale. How do you plan to deal with Scale, dumbass? Or did you not even think that far ahead? Whoa! But Odette is nowhere to be seen. I tut myself again. I might be drunk, but there's no excuse to let myself hear things. That is something she'd say, though, no doubt. Odette was there when I partnered up with Scale. I figured I'd be able to handle him myself afterwards. Yet here we are, and all I have is his name. You don't have a clue about my cause of death or regret, though. Chances are Odette knows about the former by now. Would only make sense considering I know hers. I'm the one who's gonna elect her, though. There's no risk of him obtaining any of my cards. In fact, Odette might already know his information. That would be good. Thinking that, I add another whiskey on the rocks. He ain't having that. Let me order it for him instead. And just the hell do you think? Odette! What's it like drinking on your own, punk? Odette plants herself on the seat beside me before ordering a bottle of some French red wine. I can't help but stare as the deep red liquid cascades into the glass. Its lustrous color almost puts me in a daze. I gotta say, while Italy might have the best food and wine, France is a close second. That fact never changed, even when backstabbing Odette. Let's kick this meeting off with some small talk, alright? Bit hard when I don't got anything to say to you in the first place. So I say, yet we end up talking about all sorts of stuff while enjoying our wine. We'd been working together for over a month. I gotten accustomed to chatting away with her. Kinda hard to drop that habit cold turkey. You had a thing for me, didn't you? Odette brings an odd topic out of nowhere around the time we finish our first bottle. Sure sounds like something a kid in school would say. I ain't no kid, though. That won't be enough to throw me off. Don't flatter yourself. Ain't no freedom with a woman like you. Really? To me it seemed like you'd gotten used to being on my leash. Almost like you had a similar relationship once before. Now you're just talking crazy. You and her ain't the... I cut myself off before glaring at her. The flickering lights in here are starting to piss me off. You set me up, didn't you? See you later. Put the bill on his tab for me. Odette wastes no time leaving the bar. She just came in, she's like, I'm gonna try and get this out of him. Bam! Worked! I know your regret. It's the chick. And I gotta see, though. I want to know what happens if they both have each other's full sets of cards. What happens? Would they both get eliminated? Or maybe they do eliminate each other. I don't know. I feel my entire body shaking, wine glass still in hand. She did it. The shock of what just happened sobers me up. Right, now I can see why she came in the first place. She's dug up my past, which means she knows about my regret. She came here just to tell me that. I slammed the money down on the table before throwing the bar door open and running out. Damn it. I can't hold my frustration in after getting back to my hotel. I kick the sofa over and chuck pillows at the bed. I'm just letting all my anger spill out. This ain't good at all. Scale better have that info I needed, otherwise I'm screwed. I can fend her off so long as I have the info I need on... I catch myself mid-panic. You know, that won't be enough, damn it. Am I gonna go down without ever besting her? Assuming we ended up electing each other, chances are would cause a standstill. The cards that we both hold will disappear as a result, meaning we won't be able to carry out any elections in the future. Then I'll just be living in fear of her. Now I know what I need to do. I've got to eliminate her no matter what. It's vital to me. If I surpass Odette, then I can crush Scale as well. That's the conclusion I reach as I clean up my room that I just trashed. Interesting. I spent the rest of yesterday reading through what I grabbed from the library after closing up shop for the day. This time around, we focused on material with the information about an old book designs, but nothing of note stood out. There wasn't anything too reminiscent of the design on our card books. I'm just getting started, though. I never expected to find something right off the bat. With that in mind, I head over to the bathroom to wash my face. Is some shit gonna go down in the bathroom? Okay. Scale finally rounds us up after 2 days. 2 days after Odette came by to chat. Miharu's with us too, but she's as cold as ever. That's the gist of it. This should do well to back up our thoughts regarding Odette's regret. Scale closes his explanation with a heavy tone. He told us about Odette's past. Born from a family farm, her mother passed away not long after her birth. No one knows for sure whether or not the despair of losing his wife drove her father insane. Regardless, it's the fact that Odette suffered abuse by his hand. The abuse she received not long after hitting puberty resulted in a particularly dramatic consequence. Her body became unable to sustain a child. That reality must have crushed Odette. She left the father at the brink of death. Though the use of the tools on their farm before moving abroad. She made it a point to live by the port in order to erase her memories of farm life. There she met a man in charge of a shipping company, which led her spending most of her days at sea. The man took quite an interest in her, similar to how she considered him akin to a parent. Her hearty personality and knack for the job quickly led her to being regarded as a fine member of his crew. None on the ship were aware of Odette's recklessness was spurred on by the lack of attachment to her own life, though. Odette's regret only grew as she aged, so she made an effort to work hard and enjoy the present as much as possible. Granted, all of that is just a prerequisite information in regards to learning her actual regret. Looks like her father's still alive. She even managed to speak with him directly, it seems. Of course, the trauma from his own daughter's attack on him took its toll. Apparently he's in a mental hospital now. Miharu kept her head down the entire time Scale was talking. It must hit close to home considering they're both women. Giving birth, huh? There's the card, we got it. It's a rather worthless regret for someone who mouths off as much as her. Scale mutters something to himself, but I can't quite catch it. More importantly, I finally got hold of all of her cards. Just looking at this new one gets me giddy. I've done it at last. I finally got all of her cards. Try not to grin like an idiot. I don't give a damn about her past. That's not enough to change my view of her. I don't have a future to speak of if I can't surpass her. All that's left now is I finally stand toe-to-toe with her. All that's left is to elect her. She might elect me back, but I can't let the possibility stop me. That friend of yours is quite something if they can gather that much information in just a few days. Ah, thanks. It's a shame I can't tell you too much about my source, though. We'd be getting a bit too deep into my own identity. Miharu responds with a quiet nod. She looks pretty exhausted now that I take a proper look. Talk about putting a pretty face to waste. That said, she's right. I don't know who this friend of Scales is, but they gather intel like a beast. That leads me to a thought. If this guy's got so many connections, that means there's plenty of people who know him. These two keep acting all calm and collected, but they ain't gonna last long. Once I surpass Odette, they're next. Oh man, we still got some time left. Saturday rolls around without anything resembling progress for us. I do what I can to reach the truth about divine selection, but there's far too much information out there regarding design concepts and stuff. Doesn't help that I'm not too familiar with history in the first place. Part of me is ready to give up. I tried taking a picture of my card book and doing a reverse image search, but nothing worthwhile popped up. I honestly started to feel like I'm at my limit, but I can't just throw in the towel. If I can think of any other methods, then I should stick to the way this is now. You been getting enough sleep, Rennie? I got some during the first 2 periods. Now you're starting to sound like me. Nice! Good job, Rin! I'm just gonna call you Rin now. Rinka, Keeping the store open has inevitably led me to losing sleep. Oh, maybe one of the regulars knows. My thoughts become words before I even realize it. The regulars at Lionhouse all have manner of jobs. Plenty of elderly people too, so one of them might know something. I know I don't have the luxury to stop now, which is why I keep my priorities in check. She's done for. Now, exasperated voice helps me in much the same way. Is Miharu here? Yo, Naureen! Miharu took the day off. Miharu's absences are becoming more and more frequent. She can't afford to miss too many days due to her scholarship, but I'm sure she's aware of that without me having to point it out. We're just about to head home. Want to hit up the Lion House now, Reen? Been a while since we did that. I'm surprised you're the one inviting her, not that I mind. Well, I appreciate the invite, but I'm a bit busy, you see. I got it. I'll just head over myself. Naomi offers an apologetic bow before leaving the classroom. Mao's coming to Lion House, though, so this will be the first time in a while that we both leave school at the same time. As for Naomi, she seems somewhat different today, especially considering how nervous she tends to be whenever she visits our classroom. Makes sense, makes sense. Hey, Miharu! News of Miharu's absence is worrying Naomi. This is what prompts her to come here on her own. She's gotta be at work. Naomi heard about how much Miharu worked from Rinka. That led her to assume that Miharu would have regular shifts scheduled, even in their current situation. Welcome home. Leave. Coincidentally enough, Naomi comes across Miharu the moment she enters. I have something I need to talk to you about. I'll be done here in half an hour, so would you mind taking a seat? I can't guarantee you'll feel comfortable, though. Okay, I will, thanks. Naomi takes a seat on her own. The male clientele direct their gaze towards her. Naomi fails to pick up on the jealousy felt by the others as they do so. Roughly half an hour later, Miharu returns in her school uniform and plops down in front of Naomi. Time has flown by for Naomi since she had her face buried in a book the whole time. Miharu isn't comfortable discussing things with Naomi at her workplace as opposed to somewhere like the Lion House, but she also knows she has no real alternative. Naomi braves a few quick glances at the other customers, confirming that neither Scale nor Federico are present. It's safe to assume that you haven't been able to materialize Scale's regret yet? Naomi gets straight to the point. It's plain to see how exhausted Miharu looks. The bags under her eyes and absent-minded gaze are enough to tell her that Miharu has been sacrificing sleep for the sake of research. You're right. I've been searching sports-related things in relation to a gold medal, but nothing's worthwhile come up. I'm going to get eliminated next at this rate. If that happens, it's entirely possible that Scale will get a hold of Rinka's card. Shouldn't you ask to Rinka about this? She may be able to help you, considering she formed an alliance with Odette and Alan before. Naomi made sure not to tell Rinka about any of this until today. She understands that Miharu doesn't want Rinka worrying about her. There's a limit to how far one can drag it out, though. Naomi knows that having attitude is how one can lose what's precious to them. In her own case, it was her life that she lost. So no one knows this better than she knows this better than anyone. Rinka should be able to do something. She was able to even save my life after all. I can't. Not just because I don't want her to worry, but because that could also lead to the other participants gaining their hands on her information. Miharu's immediate answer pains Naomi. She casts her head down, shaking it multiple times. She doesn't want her feelings to pour out all at once. She wants to explain things bit by bit. That's why she takes her time before looking up at Miharu. That's unimportant now. Rinka won't care about the risks. She'll do anything she can to help you. I don't want to see you I don't want to see her throw herself into danger either. But she's the type of person who's willing to do that, whatever it takes for what's important to her, regardless. Seeing her work so hard hurts me too. It makes me wish I could help out more myself. Watching her suffer over losing you scares me even more. I wouldn't be able to handle it myself. Naomi's words take Miharu aback. They remind her of Rinka's despair over losing Naomi. Miharu opted to work with Scale to eliminate you precisely because she couldn't handle seeing Rinka like that. However, Rinka put herself in significant danger to eliminate you. That's why Miharu is resolute on not wanting to allow that to happen again. But that's not all. The relief she felt over Rinka's joy that Naomi was alive was undeniable. The foundation of Rinka's happiness had become clear to her. Even so, I asked to balance my own life against hers. Now Miharu's gaze is the one cast downwards. It isn't often that for Naomi to see Miharu speak without confidence. That's why she puts every ounce of kindness into the words she says next. Most importantly, I don't want things to continue like this. If you're eliminated, then all of our time together will be undone as well. If that happens, then she stops and takes a deep breath before continuing. I'll cry so much that I'll shrivel up and die. Well, that would be a shame. Miharu notices that Naomi's attitude towards her had changed, not to mention the fact that Naomi herself hadn't noticed. Miharu smiles and then nods her head. You might be the one who's changed the most out of all of us. Let's go to Lion House later then. Your tears don't have much an effect on me, but upsetting Rinka certainly isn't something I want to do. Thank you. Naomi offers her thanks to Miharu with a look of relief on her face. She finishes her previously ordered cafe au lait before brushing the tears from her eyes. Smart. You played the sympathy card, man. You're like, bam. If you die, then I'm going to cry and I'm going to make Rinka and feel even worse. And make their way over to the Lion House together after that. No one's here. The lights are off too. It's a bit early for her to have closed for the day. This feels suspicion to Naomi, who had overheard Rinka and Mao's conversation earlier in the day. Part of this begins to worry that something's happened. I mean, that's a fair assumption. What happened? Oh, goodness. I make my way over to the base we used to prevent Yu's attacks to the week prior. The desolate view and dry wind almost feels nostalgic. But to be more accurate, it's Odette who brought me here after showing up at Lion House out of nowhere. It was my choice to come, so I can't say I got dragged out here. Yo, Alan! What do you want? Oh, haven't you heard? A little birdie told me that Scale's paparazzi friends have connections to you, too. Odette's told me very little on the way here. I'm going to get eliminated soon. Ain't no change in that. So I want to settle things with you right now. That's about all she told me. Alan remained silent, displaying as little emotion as ever. Settle things? That's right. We only got to fight the once at the old geezer's house, so I don't know which one of us is stronger. Your role here is to observe the result, Rinka. The first one to throw in the towel loses. It ain't gonna be me. Yo, we're having an all-out fight. Let's go. What makes you think I would agree to this? I only fought you back then out of necessity. Who needs a reason? Technically, us lot can't spew the you only live once adage, but hey, enjoy this immortality while you can. Besides, ain't no chance you'll be able to bounce back if you run with your tail between your legs now. This is my last chance, so dance with me, kid. The cold tone in Odette's voice delivered frightens me. I may know that she's easy to talk to now, but that cool-headed attitude of hers is still scary. Maybe this is the killing intent that gets mentioned in books and films. There's one thing nagging at me, though. You're going to be eliminated? Why is that a surprise? I mean, it's you, you know. There's no way I wouldn't be surprised. Miharu told me plenty about both Federico and Scale, but I never thought they would be able to eliminate her. She may tread a thin line at times, but I can't imagine her making a misstep. In fact, she's more likely to run at full speed ahead, laughing all the while. Yet again you feel compassion. How very like you. It's not quite it. You're awfully kind toward her yourself. I honestly find it hard to believe that she's going to get eliminated based on her composure. She brought it upon herself to say that this was her last chance, though. She must be fully prepared for what lies ahead. Odette is going to die. She's my enemy, I know that much, and yet I can't help but remember how we stopped you together and brought Naomi back. I know Scale's regret. Okay, so what? You helped me once, so at the very least. You're gonna make a point soon? Odette glares at me, her tone is dark. That alone prevents me from saying anything else. I don't got no issue starting with you if you're gonna try and humiliate me. That's not what I recommend you drop the soft-hearted attitude. Don't forget that I'm here as well. Scale Jones's regret is information I seek. You're going to tell me it, whether it be on your own will or not. You really are determined to have a reason first, huh? I gradually come to understand what they're talking about. My own exclamation has served as the spark Alan requires. He said he has no reason to fight Odette, but now he does. I'll fight to protect you, brat. I know no hesitation once my goal is clear. Defeat Odette and get information regarding Number 9's regret out of me. That's the goal he has his sights set on. I chose to observe the fight from the outside the store. They likely have guns on them, which makes sense to head out before they start firing at one another. I might not die if I get caught in the crossfire, but I'd still get badly hurt. The walls should be thick enough to stop any stray bullets. I can't avert my eyes, though. I'm determined to see their fight through. It's a way of settling things. Odette likely doesn't need a proper reason. She's considered Alan a worthy foe and simply wants to beat him out for her own satisfaction. I'd be lying if I said I understood the thought process. Regardless, I have to see this through. My reason is simple, too. This is a fight that encompasses the very life of Odette Malenkon. So we're going to see the fight, though, right? Oh, man. 30 minutes later, the fight shows no signs of ending. Neither have been able to land any significant blows. So I assume they're trying to wear one another out. Their intent is made clear by each and every action. I can't seem to take my eyes off them, even for a second. I have no interest in martial arts and stuff, but I guess I understand the appeal of competitive fighting if it's as entrancing as this. Ugh. Not only have they both lost their guns now, but they also have destroyed them. Not how they managed that, I'll never know. I've handled one myself now, so I know precisely how sturdy they are. Both have their blades on them too, but even those have been broken. The weapons seem almost useless, though. Not a single bullet or knife wound has been inflicted on either of them. Both are sweating profusely, but they clearly have much more left in their tanks. Another 10 minutes pass. The exhaustion must have hit both of them at the same time, judging by how the nature of the fight changes. They're now keeping their distance from one another, as opposed to constantly rushing in like before. Odette is the first to step in and attempt to drag the fight out to stalemate. She must have put all the meager energy she's recovered into her act. She launches a massive kick at him out of his blocking range. He manages to avoid it, albeit barely. Following that, his fist connects with Odette's face, or so it seems. Ugh! She uses her forehead to take the brunt of the blow. His expression makes it clear that he's really in pain, which Odette takes advantage of by kneeing him straight in the solar plexus. She keeps up a relentless assault following this, not allowing the opportunity to go to waste. Each blow is ferocious enough that I'd be knocked out cold after one hit, but he's taking every single one of them. He must have been biding his time while he was taking hits, because he finds the right moment to claw at Odette's neck. Ugh. One can't build up muscle in their throat, so the resulting damage is clear. She comes to a complete halt for a brief second, and now Alan launches his own attack. While Odette's assault was akin to a wild beast's, Alan's is more serene. There's a rhythm to it, almost like a dance. His movements are completely different from before. Not like Odette is simply allowing herself to be attacked either. She isn't dodging or blocking the incoming blows, she's biting at him. There's more blood that flows, the harder and deeper she bites. Just as planned. The fight is far from over. This shit's ridiculous. This is one of those 42 episode fight scenes. The streets begin to empty out around 10 p.m. Meanwhile, Naomi and Miharu are still waiting in front of Lion House for Rinka's return. It's far more humid at night during June than it is cold. There's no response from Rinka to any messages sent or phone calls met with a response that her cell phone is off. It's getting late. You should probably go home. Of course, I'm too worried to do that now. I'll make up a good excuse, so it's fine. Don't forget I'm worried about her as well. Miharu silently nods in response. Funny how I need to rely on Rinka after fervently persuading her that I could handle things on my own. She won't mind, and you know that. Miharu says nothing in return. She doesn't need to. Her genuine smile is more than enough to reassure Naomi. They're waiting for her to get back. Meanwhile, at the tool shed, things start to wrap up after another 30 minutes. Neither are moving as well as they were before. In fact, they're both exhausted that I might be able to outrun them myself. As the fight wasn't spectacular enough already, it ends with a cross counter of all things. I can't tell if Alan is out cold or not. His eyes are completely blank. As for Odette, her eyes are closed, but she has a big grin on her face. I have to be happy. I got to go out like this. With that said, she lets herself fall unconscious. Alan watches as she does so. It's hard to tell what he's thinking. And then he collapses too. Whoa! I rush over to them both. They're both out cold, but they're both still breathing. I guess exhaustion has finally forced their bodies to shut down. I'm not too sure how they managed to settle things with this, but all I do know is that Alan was the last one to fall unconscious. So Odette lost. Still, there was nothing settled by this. They just pummeled each other until they passed out. I'd be the winner here if I were to have a gun on me. But I mean, why do I need to be here? I probably just have to tend their wounds now that they ended up like this. Crap, my cell phone battery died. I ended up having to rely on memory to find the nearest convenience store. Once I do, I grab a first aid kit, some food, and some water to bring back. The journey there and back takes about an hour. Odette's gone by the time I get back. She must have left the moment she woke up, despite having no energy whatsoever. She's crazy. And one thing I can say for sure, though, the moment she collapsed is probably the last time I'll see her in the real world. She really is a free spirit right till the end. Unlike Odette, someone else is still collapsed on the ground. Is he sleeping? Alan still hasn't come to. I should just go home. After I say that, I wipe off Alan's sweat and place a cooling pad on his forehead. Then I put another towel under his head and a makeshift pillow. This guy's just as crazy as Odette. His profuse sweating and bright red face worry me. I know he wants to get out of me, but I know what he wants to get out of me, but I just can't bring myself to leave him in this state. Seeing him laid out like this makes him look younger than usual, probably due to his height and build when standing. I can't even tell the time since my phone battery died. I can tell that I'm hungry though, so I make my way up the corner to the storehouse to eat some food I picked up. I wonder how people would react if they saw this. The moment I take to consider the fact that I've become anything but normal person before chowing on my food. Holy shit. Oh, this is Alan's dream. Is that like his wife or his sister? Well, we're going to find out in the next episode, so make sure you guys stay tuned for that. Click that thumbs up button down below for me because you already know your support's greatly appreciated. Leave a comment in the comment section down below for me and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. As in the next episode, we're going to find out who this chick is and Alan's connection to her.